Hey folks, my name is Steve Cornwell and you're watching The Dialog, the place for all of your George Brown College community and campus news. We're talking elections today and we're being joined by a few candidates of that election. Welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself, tell us what you're running for and something interesting about yourself?
So my name is Kavi, that's spelled K-A-V-I. I'm running for the position Director of Education. And a fun fact about myself, I also am the president of the Board Games Club in George Brown College.
Hi, my name is Arnel Fleuant. I'm running for the position of the Director of Education. And I'd say I'm currently on the board right now as the Black Student Representative.
Wonderful. So you have some experience on the board. Arnel, what would you say is one of the, let's say do a pro and a con, like what's a good thing that the board did this past year and what's something that the board kind of needs to improve on, would you say?
I feel like the board did a really good job with dealing with the strike and the students and getting and working with the school and getting an appropriate schedule that worked for the students at George Brown. From what I know, we're one of the only colleges that still was able to get the time off in December and keep our intersession week. In regards to what the board could possibly work on, I would say it's just more information and keeping the students more informed about the student association so that the students know that the union does exist and they're aware of the services and what we can do for them.
Right, so you'd say that on the con side there's a bit of a lack of awareness about what the SA does?
For sure, there is a lack of awareness. You still have students where you'll talk to them about it and they're like, oh, what's that say, right? And they don't know, right?
Mm-hmm. But how do you resolve that problem?
Me as a board member right now is to inform, right? So I make sure I inform, I let them know that the services that they're getting through the SA, I let them know what they can get through the SA and the opportunities. I let them know about the website and our social media pages where they can go and get more information about the student associations. In regards to my constituency, I'll give them my contact information, my email number. If they need to reach me for anything, they can do so.
And the same question for you, Kavi. You've been at George Brown College for a few years now, so you are aware of what the SA does. Obviously, you're running for a spot here. What would you say is one of the strong points of the SA this past year, and what was one of the weaker things that you'd seen? You can speak to your own experience. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Okay, so running my club in the college, I get a lot of support from the Student Association, which I really appreciate. They help me to ensure that I can afford to reach out to students, and they also give me the resources I need to meet many people who are interested in the club that I created. So I really appreciate a lot of the support I get from them. One thing I do feel is sometimes it may be hard to communicate a bit. I do feel that there may be some room for improvement in that area. And I think that's one thing I want to work on, is being someone who can help bridge the communication gap between students and the Student Association if I'm in that role.
There's many events, there's many opportunities for the SA to engage students, but how do you actually open up those lines of communication as you want to do?
I would like to engage with students through events where I can meet them personally. Things like, I think social events. I'm sorry, that may sound a bit broad, but I'm thinking about things like career fairs or education seminars, anything that we have around the school. I would like to be present at, meet students, and be able to talk to them. I think through getting to know students and their needs, I can get a better idea of how best to represent them and how I can advocate for them. Yeah, I think that's the best way.
And the director of education position it's a pretty big role, right? It's one of the more important ones on the board, executive position. What do you hope to accomplish while you're in the position?
Well, I'd really like to increase the amount of students who are not only reaching their educational goals, but helping them realize what they really want to do. A lot of people will sometimes feel the pressure to just choose an education path because they feel it's safe. But I want to also make sure that not only are they getting enough of their, not only are they getting the same high standard of education, but they're also enjoying what they're learning, and they're learning it in something that they really want to do. So I want to make sure things are correct for those students.
You know, you've seen how the board operates. You've been on it for a while now. Like, it is a big position. Like, what are your plans if you get the post?
For me, it's been a position I've been looking at for a while, ever since joining the board, and I've had the opportunity to work with the current director of education and go to different conferences like CFS and whatnot. So my goal is to work with the current educational reps and the new reps that come onto the board, right? And provide them with the support that they can to help their educational constituencies, right? Help them and find out the needs of the students, right, of the different departments and whatnot, and then see what we can do to make their experience at George Brown a lot better. I also tend to look at adding a few more services to what SA already provides to the students. But for me, it's mostly making sure that the educational reps have the tools and the resources from me, if I am the director of education, for them to help their students and their constituencies and do what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned like the educational reps and the constituency reps. The starting the positions that the incoming or the people that are vying for the positions of educational reps and constituency reps now, those positions have changed since the start of this year to, being restructured for basically a little bit less money and like no kind of guaranteed hours. I mean, how does your plan to provide them with like the proper resources to do their jobs? Like, how do these two things come together? Is it more of a challenge with the roles changed as they are?
Their roles for them wouldn't be as challenging as an executive position, but I feel like the changes that we did make on the board in regards to like their budget and their resources, and I know as of May, in regards to like what their pay is going to be and stuff like that, is increasing. So we did make changes like that, but again, there's always room for more improvement and there's always room for changes, right? So I feel like with my experience and what I've known, I'll be able to provide them with that and whatever they may need, either if it's planning an event for their representatives or their constituencies, what they're trying to do, or just a service idea, right? I can provide that support for them.
How about yourself, Kavi? When you think about how the whole board kind of works, executive, educational roles, the campus directors, I mean, do you think that specifically like the educational reps and the constituency reps like have enough resources to really represent their communities?
I think that the most important thing when it comes to those positions is that they have enough training to suit the needs that they're trying to fill in terms of helping students. In terms of how much they're getting paid or earning, I think that's important, but they also need the right the right help in how to do their position. If they were to get, like my idea is that I want everyone to be able to work together on a team so that no one feels like they're overburdened or they have too much to do, but we can all kind of share the work in a way that it makes it easier for everyone and we can operate more efficiently. Yeah, I think if we can learn how to support one another, we can improve how students are being helped, and that'll be the most efficient part of the process.
So in terms of a student engagement, by my count, there's 22 kind of positions available on the board, but there's only 5 kind of election contests where there's more than one person vying for a single position. I mean, is there any reason that you see why there aren't more people trying to be on the SA board?
I would believe it's mostly about awareness. I would not have been able to participate myself unless I didn't receive an email letting me know about this. And then it also instructed me how to get involved. I think if more students were aware of how they could join in the school's student association in this way, I think there might be a higher participation in the elections and much more competition as well.
Do you think there's anything that's lost when there's not like the kind of direct competition? Like, because you folks are engaging in and kind of exchanging ideas. For some positions, we won't get that opportunity, right? It's just going to be a yes or no on a ballot.
I would definitely say there's a lot lost, because when there's only a small amount of people that know about something that they can do, then they're the only ones who will get to have that advantage. But if there are more people, there could be someone you never knew that could be really good at a position, but just because they didn't know, they weren't able to. So I'd say it's really good if more people can be aware of this.
Yeah. How about yourself, Arnel? Do you think that the lack of kind of competitive races in the election this time around, is that a concern for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's always been a concern of mine, and I think it just goes back to the lack of awareness of the union itself, that it even exists. So I think that was a big thing for me when I thought about it. So I feel like that was the whole idea behind our slate as well. It's just a few of us current board members that are rerunning, and we sat down and we felt like if we had, for one of our biggest issues this year was we didn't have enough members on the board. We just didn't. So I definitely wanted to make sure that wasn't going to happen again. So, and now we have 15 people, which is probably the biggest slate you'll ever see at George Brown. Hopefully we can change that. And we just, as a collective, we're informing and talking to people and looking at their strengths, and we want to pass that down, right? And the only way we can do that is to have like the right members and a more efficient board this time around, and then we could have way more ideas to how to give out the information, right? Because like an email here and there is not good enough, right? So either if we need to work on more events, maybe more events with the constituency reps, making sure they're doing more events and informing, connecting with the clubs more, making sure that they're informing as well. I think we can make a change with that and change the whole situation to it. From my understanding as well, it was something I did look into, and it looks like the information is being passed around as well, but we need to make sure that the people that are involved with SA are like providing that information as well. The clubs are releasing that information as well to other members and stuff like that. And the services like Peer Connect and the SSN is doing that as well.
What would you say kind of differentiates you from your opponent? Like, why should students vote for you?
When I originally joined the board, I just wanted a change. And I looked at the position as the Black student rep, and I figured and I realized there wasn't a lot of diversity. So I figured I'd try it for me. And I just want change, right? I want to make change. I want to have a better George Brown for all students, not just for a specific group of students or just students that know about essay, right? All students need to know, and all students need, and I feel like because of what I stand for and what I already know and the knowledge that I have, I can provide that for the students of George Brown.
And Kavi, the same question for you. What would you say kind of makes you different from your opponent, and why should people vote for you?
So one thing I want to share is when I first started my club in the college, I started to meet a lot of people, and I made a lot of friends from many different areas. Many of them came from different parts of the world, some were from Toronto, and as I continued to meet more people, a lot of them became my friends, and I realized that I really care about helping my friends. I get to hear their stories, their education struggles, and I also want to help. I want to be able to help them succeed in their goals, and not just my friends as well, but students from all over George Brown College.
Just the final thing here, and maybe a lighter note. It's a campaign, you know. I'm sure you two will cross paths on the trail, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but sometimes things get spicy out there on the campaign trail. So I just want to end off starting with you, Kavi. Can you say one nice thing about Arnel before the heat of the election campaign really gets underway?
He's a very nice person. I actually really like him as a person, and I'm glad we can, even though we're rivals, I think we can call each other friends. Yeah.
Rivals first, friendships later?
No, I put rivals second, because at the end of this, it's going to be over in a few weeks, but I think friendships will always last longer.
Right. Is Kavi more your friend or your rival? What would you describe?
I'd say friend, yeah, for sure. When I first met him, he seemed like a cool guy, very honest, I'll say that, and I appreciate that. And yeah, for sure, I think we're friends more than rivals.
Well, good. Well, thanks so much for coming in. Best of luck out there on the campaign trail. Okay, so the SA election is happening right now. The campaign has started. Voting opens on March 19th. That's online. There's also in-person voting on March 22nd, and the ballots close as of March 27th. So there's lots of time. Get out there, choose your next SA board. Thanks, folks.